Ladies and gentlemen, if you please come in and take your seats, our program will begin in 5 minutes. Please come in and take your seats, and don't forget to get your card out in the hallway. Ladies and gentlemen, please come in and take your seats. We will begin in 2 minutes. This is your 2-minute warning. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Our program is about to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Our program is about to begin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for attending the NRMCA annual members meeting. Before I go on, I'd just like to give one more round of applause for all the award winners. That was a fantastic presentation. Thank you. Before we get started with today's business, since safety is so important to all of us, I want to briefly cover a few safety items. In case of emergency, please note the exits around this room, most notably the three over here on my right. In case of an emergency, once you get through those exit doors, follow the hall past Vivaldi, which is on the going left, towards the Wynn Golf Club Pro Shop. Now, many of you will want to stop there and kind of shop, or maybe, I don't know, get around in Rick Edwards. Where's Rick Edwards? He might be there already. Don't do that. Just come back and we'll continue. If there's a need for a fire extinguisher, they're located in the back of the house as well. If you are a CPR or first aid qualified and willing to help in an emergency, could you please raise your hand? Thank you. To reach emergency security, dial 702-7. Well, we'll put Heather Hauk on that one. If there is an emergency, Heather will take care of that. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce NRMCA Chairman John Holliday.
Thank you, Mike. Good morning. Welcome to the 2023 annual members meeting for the National Ready Mix Concrete Association. I'll now call this meeting to order and note that we do have a quorum to proceed. Please make every effort to remain present for the entirety of this meeting, as we need to maintain quorum throughout for voting purposes. Only those individuals holding voting cards can make motions, nominations, or vote. I will ask you to raise your voting cards when I call for a vote. If you want to make a motion, please raise your hand to be recognized, and someone will bring a microphone to you so you can be heard. Non-voting member company representatives and guests have the right to discussion by raising their hand to be recognized after all voting delegates have had an opportunity to speak. And just to note, any motions that come from a committee do not require a second from the floor before voting. Do we have any questions? The rules for this business meeting are shown on the screen and in the books at your seat. Are there any objections to the adoption of these rules? There being no objections, the rules are adopted for this meeting. I would also like to point to your attention to the antitrust statement, which is also included in the book. This meeting will be held in strict compliance with NRMCA's antitrust policy and all U.S. antitrust laws. I'd like to thank our 2023 Association super sponsors, CRESO, GCP Applied Technologies, Euclid Chemical, Master Builder Solutions, and Sika Corporation. I'd also like to extend our thanks to the 2023 Premier Convention sponsors, Command Alcon and Heidelberg Materials. Many thanks to your companies for supporting this meeting and all association functions and activities this year. I'd like to start our meeting by recognizing a few groups and individuals who have helped shape our association and our industry. First, I want to recognize the contribution and hard work of NRMCA's past chairpeople. The achievements of the association are a testament to the leadership of the people who served before me. Next, I'd like to recognize the 2022-2023 Executive Committee. They have successfully managed their own businesses while giving valuable time to provide leadership for the association. They are Bob Chandler, G. Carlton Golden Jr., Brian Gray, Melanie O'Regan, Rich Umble, and Alan Wessel. And last but not certainly least, I'd like to thank the officers who served alongside me during my time as chairman. Vice Chairman Adam Manat, Secretary-Treasurer Nathan McKeon, and immediate past chair Abbott Lawrence. Thank you for your hard work and dedication and support of my chairmanship. Thank you. I'd like to turn now to some remarks on the association and our activities and progress over the last year. It's hard to believe it has been a year since I stood before you and accepted the position as NRMCA chairman. As I look back on my term, I can honestly say that I am proud of what we have accomplished. Once again, I'd like to thank my fellow board members, the executive committee, Mike, Nicole, Greg, Joe, and the rest of the team at NRMCA, certainly my family, my friends, colleagues, and NRMCA membership. It's been a great privilege and a pleasure working with all of you this year. Thank you to Heather and Jessica for taking care of all the details so that these meetings and all our other activities go off without a hitch. On a personal note, I'd like to thank Peter Bruin and Frank Craddock, who many years ago inspired me, encouraged me to become a member and participate at NRMCA. It's been a great journey. Thank you, Peter. I know you're here today, and somebody get word to Frank for me, please. I'd also like to thank my cement supplier and friend, Alan Hamlin, who also has been an inspiration for me in my association journey. Then one last shout out to my coworker, Martin Hansberger, who has attended many of these NRMC functions with me over the years. Thanks for coming along, Marty. Ride or die, there you go. One of our main priorities, for this term was taking the feedback from our strategic planning efforts and the value proposition study to create a sustainable, well-governed, and focused leadership team at both the employee and board level. I think a clear, concise, and compelling mission unifies and motivates the board and staff to achieve meaningful results. Just as good governance dictates, we review our bylaws periodically to ensure that we are up to date and in compliance with all of the requirements. In a few minutes, we'll be discussing proposed changes to those said bylaws as they pertain to the NRMCA board and executive committee. An association must run effective meetings that get the business of the board done while also allowing time for meaningful discussion. This allows the board to focus on issues of real importance to the organization and especially regarding the future. Of paramount importance is creating and maintaining a fair and transparent relationship with the president of the association, and that includes well-defined goals and expectations that are mutually agreed upon. Communication between the president and the board members is a must for effective associations. I think you saw this during the board member in Denver, where Mike and I conducted an open forum answering questions from board members and guests. NRMCA's Build with Strength initiative helped increase market share of concrete in buildings to 34% in 2022. It's the highest it's ever been. Our sustainability initiatives have helped decrease concrete's carbon footprint by 21% over the last 7 years. The concrete industry leads the way with more than 40,000 environmental product declarations. The Pave Ahead promotion team pursued 375 projects last year, resulting in 2.2 extra million cubic yards of concrete for our industry. Our membership effort added 36 new producer members in 22, along with 62 associate members for a grand total of 98 new member companies. On the government affairs side, NRMCA worked diligently to secure critical changes to the Inflation Reduction Act to protect the industry's work on EPDs and on sustainability, and also successfully defeated pro-wood policies that would have resulted in taxpayer-funded competitive advantage for the wood industry. We also had our most successful year for concrete pack. Meanwhile, the RES committee continues to advocate for the evolution of standards to support performance and sustainability, support research activities, develop resources for improving the quality of ready-mix concrete, and supports NRMCA certification programs for plants, trucks, and technical personnel. The SEO committee helped to effectively overturn OSHA's mandate for COVID-19 vaccinations for all workplaces and conducted one of the most successful national mixer driver championship programs in our history. Lastly, through NRMCA's education department, more than 1,250 people received professional development through 32 different online and in-person courses, including driver training. Our membership is strong and very involved with the many varied classes, programs, workshops, and events that are scheduled throughout the year. I'm honored to have served as the NRMCA chairman and to have worked with so many dedicated individuals who care so much about our association and our industry. I recall the list of priorities that I spoke of when I began my term as board chairman and realized that this impressive list of accomplishments fell largely on the shoulders of a host of talented industry colleagues and NRMCA staff members. I'm proud that I played a small part in moving NRMCA forward. I know the association is in good hands with Mike Phelps at the helm and the new slate of officers to be headed by my friend and industry colleague Adam Manat. Thank you for the opportunity to serve as chairman. The updated bylaws were sent to all primary contacts of NRMCA producer companies in February. The changes were identified by a task force group consisting of members of the executive committee, the nominating committee, staff, and have been reviewed and approved by NRMCA's legal counsel and parliamentarian. The document presented was approved by the executive committee on behalf of the board of directors, and if approved by the membership, will be implemented immediately. Let's quickly go over these changes. In Article 2, we remove specific programmatic objectives of the association, as those are defined and updated regularly within our strategic plan and Vision 2030, and they do not need to be included in the bylaws. Article 6, Sections 1 and 3 provide flexibility in the election process for seats on the NRMCA Board of Directors versus requiring a specific number of seats to be filled each year out of specific nomination categories, as well as removing the gap year that's currently required between full terms on the board. Article 6, Section 8 adds a second past chairman to the executive committee in addition to the immediate past chairman, as well as an additional elected member. That way you maintain an odd number of seats on the committee. Article 11 allows the association to update this section of the bylaws without needing a vote from the membership so that the organization can maintain use of the most current edition of Robert's Rules of Orders. Before we take a vote, are there any questions or comments? Since these recommendations come from the NRMCA Executive Committee, there is no need for a second. This vote can be taken by a show of voting cards. Those in favor of approving the bylaws as presented, please raise your voting cards. Thank you. Please lower your cards. Anyone opposed, please raise your voting card. Thank you. These changes will be implemented immediately as we move into the nominations for the 2023-2024 Board of Directors. I would now like to take this opportunity to introduce my friend Alan Hamlin, Chairman of the Nominating Committee.
Thanks, John. And on a personal note, I thank you for putting stairs on both sides of the stage. For those of you that don't get that, sorry. As noted in the NRMCA bylaws on page 10 in the materials at your seat, the nominating committee is composed of 9 members, including the current board chairman, the immediate past chair, and past chairs from previous 7 years, provided that they're still actively engaged in the industry. The president of NRMCA is a non-voting ex officio member of the committee. Each spring, the committee begins its work by requesting nominations from the industry. The committee reviews the nominees to fill board and state associate executive representative seats. The nominating committee meets during the fall to review the qualifications of each nominee. The committee considers company size, geographic region, participation in the association programs, contributions to the concrete pact, committee work, survey participation, state association involvement, and the current makeup of the board. A 2024-2025 board nomination form is included on the last page of the materials at your seat. Please consider nominating a current NRMCA producer, member, or a state representative you feel shows commitment and leadership skills and wants to become more engaged in the association. Please return the forms to Heather Huck after this meeting. You can also send it to her at the email address printed on the form. Are there any questions on procedure? Hearing none, we will proceed to the nominations and voting. The nominees for the 23 through 26 board are Thor Becken, Simstone Products Company, Greg Bowler, Sunrock Group Holdings Corporation, Christian Brown, Tigert Materials and Ready Mix Concrete, Darren Buntock, GB Ready Mix, Herb Burton, Vulcan Materials Company, Alex Carr, Lehigh Hanson, Kurt Kroll, Kroll Inc., Ron Hall, Knife River, North Central Region, Jared Hendricks, Lyman Ritchie Corporation, a CRH company, Les Howell, Delta Industries, Bart Jones, Carolina Ready Mix and Builder Supply, LLC, Toby Lee, Heidelberger Materials, Jeremiah Lemons, CRH, America's Materials, TJ Oneglia, OG Industries, Melanie O'Regan, Cal Portland Company, Terrence Savage, Geneva Rock Products, James Shelsey, Warburn Ready Mix, Brad Slayball, Hilltop Companies, Rich Umble, Lyman Ritchie Corporation, a CRH company, Rob Vandershaft, Burnco, Colorado, Craig Dauphiné, Massachusetts Concrete and Aggregates Producer Association. So, Mr. Chairman, the nominating committee respectfully moves this slate of individuals to be seated on the NRMCA board for a term of 3 years commencing at the end of the NRMCA 2023 annual convention.
Thank you, Alan. Since these nominations come from an NRMCA committee, there is no need for a second. Are there any further nominations for the Board of Directors? There being no further recommendations, nominations are now closed. This vote can be taken by a show of voting cards. Those in favor of electing the slate presented by the nominating committee to the NRMCA Board of Directors, please raise your voting cards. Thank you. Please lower your cards. Is there anyone opposed to electing the slate presented? Please raise your voting cards. The slate has been approved. Congratulations to you all. Please see Heather Haug to pick up your new name badges. She will be at the NRMCA registration desk immediately following this meeting. All new directors are encouraged to attend the new directors orientation call, which will be held later this month. Please look for information in your email. In addition, you are invited as guests to the final 2022-2023 Board of Directors meeting, which will be tomorrow morning from 9:15 until noon. Our next business is the election of officers. I hand it back to Mr. Hamblin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the position of Secretary-Treasurer, the committee nominates Hall Cheney, Cheney Enterprises. For the position of Vice Chairman, the committee nominates Nathan McKean, BMC Enterprises, Inc. And for the position of Chairman, the committee nominates Adam Manat, Manats, Inc. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to take a few moments to highlight some of the accomplishments of our nominees. For the position of Secretary-Treasurer, Hall Cheney, Hall's formal involvement with Cheney Enterprises began with summer employment while he still attended school at the University of Maryland. He is a graduate of the Robert H. Smith School of Business at the University of Maryland with a Bachelor of Science degree in Logistics and Supply Chain Management. He holds a master's degree in Real Estate and Development from the Colvin Institute at the University of Maryland. Hall rejoined Cheney Enterprises in 2008. Since that time, Hall has held many positions such as Project Manager, Sales and Business Development Representative, Concrete Operations Manager, and Executive Vice President. In 2016, Hall began leading the company as President, and in 2019 was promoted to CEO. He has served on the NRMCA Board and Executive Committee. He currently serves as the Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees for the RMC Research and Education Foundation and is a Maryland Ready Mixed Concrete Association board member. He serves on the Cheney Foundation and is a past chair of the Maryland Transportation Builders and Materials Association Education Committee. Hall and his wife Chelsea have 4 children. He enjoys golf and pickleball. For the position of Vice Chair, Nathan McKean, Mr. McKean is the 4th Chief Executive Officer and sole shareholder of BMC Enterprises, established in 1925. Mr. McKean has held the position since the end of 2004 and has held virtually every leadership position within BMC since beginning his full-time employment in 1992. Since becoming CEO, Mr. McKean and his team have completed more than 24 acquisitions, firmly establishing BMC Enterprises as the vertically integrated construction material leader focused on the manufacturing of aggregates, ready-mix concrete, and precast concrete products. Mr. McKean is the past president of the St. Louis Concrete Council and the past chairman of the Missouri Concrete Association. He has served terms on both the board and executive committee of the National Ready Mix Concrete Association and is currently the Secretary-Treasurer. Mr. McKean is a committed advocate for the industry at large, as he has spent several years as the chairman of NRMCA's Government Affairs Committee and Concrete PAC. Mr. McKean currently lives in St. Louis, Missouri with his wife, Jennifer. They have 2 grown children, and he is an avid outdoorsman and loves to fly, fish, hike, and ski. He and his family are actively involved in various philanthropic organizations, including St. Louis Children's Hospital Foundation, the World Pediatric Project, and the Catholic Student Center at Washington University. For position of Chairman, Adam Manat, Mr. Manat is Vice President of Manats, Inc. and General Manager of its Ready Mix Division in Brooklyn, Iowa. He received his Bachelor of Arts degree from Iowa State University and his Juris Doctor degree from the University of Iowa College of Law. Mr. Manat is a member of the Iowa Ready Mix Concrete Association, where he has served on the Political Awareness, Environmental, and Events Committee and served as president in 2017. He has served on the Labor Policy and PAC committees of AGC of Iowa and graduated from the AGC of Iowa's Leadership Academy. Mr. Manat served several terms on NRMCA Board of Directors and Executive Committee before being elected as Secretary-Treasurer. Adam has been a member of NRMCA Government Affairs Committee and Safety, Environmental, and Operations Committee, where he acted as the Executive Committee liaison. Adam is a strong supporter of Concrete PAC. There seems to be a theme here on Concrete PAC, so I hope everybody's bought your tickets. NRMCA's Political Action Committee. He and his wife, Jamin, have 4 children, William, Maggie, Ella, and Charlotte.
Thank you, Alan. Are there further nominations for officer positions? Hearing no further nominations, the vote can be taken for the slate of officers. Those in favor of electing the slate of officers presented by the nominating committee, please raise your voting cards. Thank you. Please lower your cards. Anyone opposed to electing the slate presented, please raise your voting cards. The 2023-2024 officers have been approved. Congratulations. Just for a moment, would the newly elected officers and board members please stand and be recognized? Thank you for your commitment and congratulations. It's now my distinct honor to introduce Chairman-elect for 2023-2024, Mr. Adam Manat. I've had the pleasure of working with him the past few years, and as you heard in his bio, he is a very accomplished individual. I think his greatest accomplishment is his beautiful family, but he's an attorney, I think an astute businessman, but he's also very practical in his understanding of construction and the ready-mix industry. He's been I think a great supporter and participant in the SEO committee, very involved in Iowa State Association activities, which I think are so important for our national and state associations to work together. He also knows himself some Robert Rules of Order, which will be a great improvement over the last year with me. So, Adam, why don't you come up and tell us what you're going to do over the next year?
Thank you, John. John's already leaving the stage. That's a little bit what I was worried about getting up here. It is an honor to serve this association. The National Ready Mix Concrete Association is a steward of our industry. It ensures our vitality and our viability into the future. So let me begin by thanking the nominating committee and the members gathered here today. Let me also make sure I don't forget to thank my wife, Jamin, for her support, her love, and putting up with me and allowing me to do this. I'm truly honored to serve this exceptional association and humbled by the confidence and trust you're placing in me. This board of directors has been led by people that I admire and respect. I'm delighted to be your chairman. I'm fully committed to continuing the legacy of success and further advance the interests of NRMCA and its members. John, it's been a pleasure working with you these past several years. We're all better off for your efforts and your leadership. You're a very tough act to follow, and I know I'll be relying on your experience as board chairman for advice as we move forward through my term. You've led by example, through inclusion, and through consistently seeking to understand. I can genuinely say you've helped me become a better leader and person through watching and working with you. You've taught me about delegation and ensuring the vice chairman doesn't get off too easy. And just so you know, I plan to apply some of these lessons by finding ways to get you back up here on stage as the immediate past chair. So thank you, John, for your leadership, your counsel, and your friendship. I've been asked numerous times, what's your priority going to be as NRMCA chairman? And I'd like to start answering that with a story. I remember sitting at a little bistro set in Kohler, Wisconsin, as a part of John Carew's executive committee. COVID was a big deal back then, but what made this memory stand out was a conversation with Abbott Lawrence, John Holliday, and Melanie O'Regan. We had a very frank, very open discussion about how the association will not win if our priorities change every year. That if our goals have to be accomplished in 12 months and then we have a new set of goals with the next chairman or chairwoman, we're missing out on the number one thing our product is known for, long-term durability. So my priority as chairman of your association for 2023 are to continue the work of the leaders who came before me. We've invested a lot of time and a lot of money in our value proposition, starting with Chairman Lawrence and continuing through Chairman Holliday's term. We have crafted and we have refined how our association creates and provides value for our members. Our value proposition helps us in our communication efforts to you, our members, and to the greater world. What I intend to add is taking a next step in how we refine the association's focus on what matters to you, our members. Our value proposition defines who we are and where we want to go. As thought leaders, we must challenge and question what we do to ensure we're meeting the needs of our members. And those of you who know me know challenge and questions are two things I really enjoy. That might be part of the recovering attorney in me. In fact, we're already starting to do some of this. In this meeting, just a few minutes ago, we looked at the composition in terms of who and how many people serve on the NRMCA Board of Directors and Executive Committees. We're cleaning up old bylaws to require time off the board to allow those members who actively participate to continue to do so as appropriate. At our last board meeting, we created some forums to help increase transparency and encourage questions to be asked so that we can answer them. Reducing the length of the board meeting, that starts tomorrow, and asking board members to step up and do your pre-work so we can have more streamlined meetings. So what's next? Before we get too carried away, we need to understand where we are. The staff will be assessing the services we provide, closely examining the content and delivery methods of association offerings. We'll be reviewing our educational offerings, ensuring they align with the needs of our members and are up to date with changes in our world. While we think we understand what our members value, we'll look to quantify this by reviewing and better tracking what services our members are actually using. In making sure we provide the right value to our members, I've heard you that we also need to look at the due structure. From big members to small, from coast to coast, and from non-members justifying non-membership, we hear you that we need to take a look at this. And those two things go together. The National Ready Mix Concrete Association has to live within its means, and our means are determined by the dues paid by our members. So our goal this year will be to understand what our budget is and how we maximize the value to our members based on our budget. We'll ask hard questions. We'll challenge some of the things we've always done. In that, we've identified we need to guide our members to the highest standard. We need to be thought leaders in innovation. We need to advance our members' business operations, develop our members' personnel, and emphasize the critical role of concrete in our world and everyone's lives. I intend to make sure the association continues to show value to you, our members, and showcases programs and opportunities that we provide. The process will lead to productive discussions about the offerings of the association, making sure it continues to offer courses, webinars, and other opportunities of consequence to all categories of membership. At Manats, our purpose is building legacies through standards of excellence. I bring this sentiment with me in everything I do, and I'm excited to bring it to the work I do for the association this coming year. With hard work from each of us, we'll leave a legacy that we can look back on and be proud of. I look forward to a great year working alongside John, Nathan, Hall, and the executive committee, Mike Phillips and the incredible staff at NRMCA, and serving all of you as chairman of this incredible association. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Adam. You can see we're in great hands for the next year, for sure. At this time, I'd like to recognize those board members whose terms will come to an end at the conclusion of this convention. These individuals have been generous with their time in working on association business, and we all truly appreciate their efforts and contributions to the success of our association. Kevin Beckley, Ozinga Ready Mix, Edelson Chimovoski, Voratin Cementos, Scott Dukoff, Cemex, John Ernst, Ernst Concrete, Daryl Fales, Preferred Materials, Kirk Farmer, Farmer Holdings Company, Andrew Gwynn, Port Aggregates, Hank Haig, Stratacorp, Calvin Kingery, Irving Materials, G.R. Lyons, Lycon Incorporated, Bill Roy, Ready Mix USA, Lawrence Selvey II, Selvey Concrete Products, Caroline Sutton, Carolina's Ready Mix Concrete Association, Alan Wessel, Thomas Concrete, Johnny Young, MMC Materials Incorporated. Before we adjourn, I would like to take a moment to thank NRMCA's M2M partners. You can see them on the screen. If you're not familiar with this program, it is designed to give NRMCA associate members the chance to offer members-only rebates, discount pricing, and other benefits to producer members of our association. On the screen, you will see the current roster of benefit partners. I encourage you to contact these vendors, and I encourage you to contact your vendors if they're not listed, and ask them to consider becoming an M2M partner. Please reach out to Heather Hauk or Jacques Jenkins for more information. The floor is now open for additional agenda items. I would like to thank you all for your time today. I appreciate your participation and dedication to our industry. Hearing no other additional business, we will adjourn. Please enjoy a short break and join us back here at 11:15 for the general session with keynote speaker Tyler Lay. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our program.